Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to North Wilkesboro for the Northeast Racers Hardcore Contender Series. Tonight we are turning laps at North Wilkesboro, 75 laps with no tires and no fuel and no fast repairs. Just all out hardcore racing at this legendary track. Got some Daniel Sweeney fans in the crowd tonight. There he is, right in the black and red car. He's currently ninth on the speed charts, but let's talk about Wilkesboro just a little bit. It has been out of NASCAR racing since '94. I remember watching the final race there, won by Jeff Gordon. But thankfully, thanks to iRacing, Dale Earnhardt Jr., a great group of people got together, managed to clean the track up. iRacing scanned it. We got it just in time for some pro drivers to give it its first test run before it went live on iRacing, which was really, really cool. North Wilkesboro is 0.625 miles with 14-degree turns, 3-degree straightaways, and a front straightaway that goes downhill and a back straightaway that goes uphill. That makes a huge difference because you get a little bit loose going into turn 3 as you come up the hill, and you're a little tight going into turn 1 going down the hill. But coming off of turn 2, you get a little bit loose, and on coming off turn 4, you can either end up loose or tight. Just depends on how you get back on it. It is a very odd, very different track. NASCAR really needs to bring back the variety on tracks like this. This is one of my personal favorite tracks. Really cool. Really looking forward to watching these guys run tonight. And since we're following Daniel Sweeney around the track, let's ride along with him for a lap and see what this track is like while we have a moment. Coming down through the front stretch into turn 1, has to back out and just tap the throttle. You can hear the tires just struggling to get around the corner. He's been out there for about 8-9 laps now, so his tires are already worn in and the handling becomes an issue. You want to stay as low as possible through 3 and 4. And you can see he is right on the rev limiter when he gets to the bottom and going into turn 1. Coming up the backstretch again, right behind the 12 car. Staying as low as you can, but not hitting that little bump to the inside because that will upset the car and it will turn you around. All right, just just over 6.5 minutes left in the practice session tonight. Currently fastest on the speed chart, David Greenslet. Tony Quadros second, Rodney Huntoon is third, Jason Pelkey fourth, and Justin Prescott rounds out the top 5 fastest cars. However, the point series is a little bit different now. Nathan Wenzel and Randall Phillips are tied for first, but Tony Quadros, even with the struggles he had last week, is only 8 points out of the lead. Jason Pelkey back in fourth, just 6 points behind Tony, and Eric Steele 2 more points back. Jeff Battle, we've seen him up battling for a lot of these races here recently. He's currently 10th in points despite having 2 wins this season, more than anybody else in the league. He's got 2 wins. Nobody else has more than 1, but he is 40, right at 40 points back from the leaders in 10th spot. That also tells you how close that gap is. First through 5th is just over 16 points, and then 5th to 10th is not much different. It's just at 20 points. So the top 10, all those positions still up for grabs, and tonight is definitely a track that, as you see the car of Daniel Sweeney stopped in turn 1 and got smacked, all these positions in the top 10 are still up for grabs. There's some guys outside of the top 10 who could definitely come back as well if they have a good showing here tonight. There is your current fastest on track. That is David Greenslet. Looks like he is on cold tires and getting a little bit loose. That is going to be a problem, at least on the initial start. And a couple of times on the restart, the tires cool down under pace laps. That means that they will get loose again as they start to cool off. And when they restart, they're going to have some problems getting into turn one. You'll see most of the incidents tonight more than likely happen in turns 1 and 2. But as we've mentioned every week, this is a hardcore series. No extra tires, no fast repairs, nothing else. You start with, you got what you start with, you finish with what you started with. So it will be interesting to see if these guys play it a little bit safe early on or if they are going wide open for the full 75 laps tonight. And it looks like Mr. Cupcake is in there saying, "Go Road Soda Randy Phillips." Still have not heard that story yet. Of course, Cupcake, Eric Pomasco to the front. So we will see if Cupcake can get to the front tonight. Don't actually see where Cupcake has been. Yeah, he's been on track tonight. We were looking at him just a few minutes ago in the 74 car. There's Cupcake. Tony Quadros currently third in points. He is running second on the track right now. And again, first and second are tied for points. Nathan Wenzel and Randy Phillips are going to be the two to watch very closely tonight to see who gets the points lead walking out of here tonight and see if Tony Quadros can make up any of that 8 points between them. Plus, we'll see how they react if they end up side by side going into this battle. Yes, James, you are cupcakes. That is quite funny. And I'm impressed that Cupcake remembered my nickname. All right, just 2 minutes of practice left to go. Just taking a look, let's see where Nathan Wenzel is on the chart. He is your points leader. He has not actually been out on track yet, so he has not put in a speed. Randy Phillips, let's see. He is currently 6th fastest. Of course, we mentioned Tony Quadros is 2nd fastest. Jason Pelkey, 4th in points. He is 4th fastest as well. And Eric Steele, who's 5th in points, is back in 11th fastest currently. Jeff Battles, I don't believe, has been out on track yet. I'm sorry, Jeff has been out on track. He's come in 7th fastest, currently 10th in points with 2 wins. That's going to make for some interesting racing. We'll see if Battles can get up through the field. He is one that tends to sneak up through the field as the race goes on, and we'll see if he can do that again tonight, see if he can get to the front as we watch Eric Pomasco come through the field in practice. Currently 8th on the speed charts. And the 19 of Randy Phillips is also out there right in front of him. Currently tied for the points lead. We will see how all these battles play out. We'll have the heats to set the running order. They'll qualify, have their heats, a quick warm-up, and then we will get started with the feature. But you're not going to want to miss any of these battles tonight as they do both the heats and the feature. The 75-lap feature is definitely going to put on a show. They're going to have to conserve a little bit of tire for the end of the race, and we'll see if any of these guys, based on the speed chart right now, none of these guys are going to be able to just run away with this thing. In fact, from 1st to 9th, 1/10 of a second difference on the speed charts. David Greenslick currently fastest. 9th place Eric Steele is right at 1/10 of a second slower, so that is going to play into this in a huge way. They are all just as fast. It's going to be who can conserve, who can survive. All right, getting ready, qualifying to kick off, waiting on the car to get on track, and we'll watch a couple of guys qualify here. That is the 03 car. Was looking to see if the 31 and the 74, when they hop out on track, we will follow them around. Looks like they get 4 laps to qualify tonight. This is a fast track to get around. As the 03 of Nathan Wenzel, currently second fastest. Dean Webb at the top of the board right now. Looks like the 31 who had some fans here tonight, he is now out on track as well. Daniel Sweeney. Currently have about 12 cars qualified, and when Daniel gets close to the end of his run, we'll take a look at the leaderboards. Tony Quadros currently on top of the leaderboard in qualifying. Eric Pomasco currently sits second. And it looks like the 31 of Daniel Sweeney's going to qualify about 8th right now. It is currently Tony Quadros, Eric Pomasco, Justin Prescott, Randall Phillips, and Kyle Streeter are the top 5, followed by Jeffrey Ramsdale. Looks like Eric Steele just bumped Kyle back a couple spots. They are not done yet, and starting to see some of the top 5 spots shake up just a little bit. All right, 17 seconds left to go. We'll go through this qualifying order real quick. Tony Quadros and Eric Pomasco first and second. Justin Prescott third. Randall Phillips fourth. Eric Steele fifth. Eric Steele got bumped to 6th. Randall Phillips busted out a quicker lap. Then Jeffrey Ramsdale, Kyle Streeter, Jeffrey Battles, Daniel Sweeney round out your top 10, and we will see how it goes after these heats get completed. Heat number 1 about to go green, and there is the number 74. That is James Seagroves DeCourcy, a.k.a. Cupcake, on the track. You got points leader in the 03 car. That is Mr. Nathan Wenzel. And there is the 07 car. Jeffrey Ramsdale, he's had a rough couple of weeks, but last week he managed to pull off a really good finish. Was quite impressed with his drive to the front. There is the 31 there at the front. I know it says 12 on the side, but it scores him as the 31, so just be aware of that. But so some of these guys up here at the front early, hopefully they'll be able to hang on to it. And we've got some fast cars back there in the back. Hopefully that 07 can shake off some of the bad luck that's caught him the last few weeks and get up there and get a win in. And of course, we will be keeping an eye out for Jeff Battles as well as we get 1 to green. Just over half a mile on this track, but it drives really, really fast. These guys are going to be giving it everything they got for these heat races and not much less. They'll probably conserve the first few laps of the feature, but I don't see it being very much. This is a tight track. It is a 2-groove track, but it is very tight when you're coming, especially coming off the corners. It is going to get really dicey, especially on the exit of turn 2 on the first lap. So we will see what happens here. Pace car's about to duck off. There goes the Ford. Didn't break down either. I am impressed. Green flag is in the air. The 31 is going to take him down into turn 1 with the 14 of Jeffrey Battles there to the outside. And they get through turn 1 fairly clean. It looked like they were about 3 wide back there, settled back down just a little bit. Looked like the 43 might have done doing a little bumping coming through 3 and 4. They got away clean with it though. Back up front, Jeffrey Battles is in the grass, and the 07 to the inside got spun. He is in the wall. He's going to come back up on track. Jeffrey Battles is back in this, and that gives the lead to the 31. Daniel Sweeney, caution is out. Let's see what happened there. That actually was not the incident that brought the caution out. You see the 43 there to the inside. He gets a little bit loose there and collects the 21, and the 14 of Jeffrey Battles gets collected in that melee as well. And that brings us under our first caution of the night, and it looks like we might have some cars on pit road blowing up. Looks like the 46 is on pit road. He's got light damage, but he is still okay. Trying to take a look through here. '74 got collected in that as well. The 43 is really banged up. The 07 has managed to hop back up. Looks like he is back up in second. Then the 31. Sorry, that's the 37 there. He is clean. Looks like the 17 and the car behind him are also okay. The 32 of Eric Steele. But it looks like Eric Laurendeau and Dustin Thibodeau both on pit road. There is the 21. Let's see if we can get a better look at the front end of his car. And that's in pretty bad shape. Look back at the 07. He looks like he's got a little bit of front end damage, but not too terribly bad. He might be okay. Should be getting 1 to green this time by. Looks like the 14 of Jeff Battles is also on pit road. Trying to take a quick look at his car. It's pretty banged up as well. He should be able to get back out. I don't believe his engine was smoking, but we will have to wait and see. But that is going to put him towards the back, and that'll be really bad for when they start the feature race. That's going to be a difficult task for him to come through the field, but if there's anybody that can do it, we've seen the 14 do it on more than one occasion, including last week at Langley. And will the lights go out on the pace car? Yes, they did. We get 1 to green. Everybody stacks up 2 wide. Looks like we're going to be about 3 cars short on the restart. Jeffrey Battles, Eric Laurendeau, and Dustin Thibodeau all still on pit road. I do believe that the 46 of Eric Laurendeau is out of the heat, so he will be starting the feature from way back. I believe Dustin may be out as well. Jeffrey Battles might be able to come back out, but right now the pace car is on pit road. Green flag is in the air. Starting lap number 4. Daniel Sweeney to the front. But the 07, after getting spun and being on the inside, hitting the inside rail, he is fighting back there on the outside. That is Jeffrey Ramsdale there to the outside. He is battling back. Even with that front end damage, he is still in this fight, and he is starting to gain a little ground. That outside line through 1 and 2 is a little bit better. You see him get a little loose off of turn 2, but he manages to hold on to it going into turn 3, running a higher line. He'll carry some momentum off. Not enough as, the 17, it looked like went to the inside wall. We've got a crash here. The 03 and the 43 both involved. Caution is out again. And it looked like this accident actually started with the 17 car getting a little bit loose. We talked about that in the pre-race. You get a little bit loose there. The 17 comes back down. The 03 has nowhere to go, nor does the 43, and they both get collected in that as well. And it is still Daniel Sweeney at the front with 3 laps to go. But the 07 is Jeffrey Ramsdale still right there with him. We saw the 07, he's pushing hard. He was getting way loose coming off of turn 2 there on the restart. So we'll see if he can tame that in and get a run coming up the back straightaway. Looks like we're down to about 9 cars on track. It does not look like anybody had to go in. The 17 of Dean Webb is still out on track at the back of the field. Looks like the 43 Dana Shepard is still out, as is points leader the 03 of Nathan Wenzel. North Wilkesboro is such an awesome track, and you can tell from the background shots they did keep this with the 87 the way it looked way back in 87. They released it with the 87 Cup cars, so they kept the same look from 87, which took a little bit of extra work, but you've got the Winston Cup Series signs up, the old Goodyear signs up, and everything looking how it did back then. They had to go back through some old footage and pull all that up, but you even can see on the outside of the track, when you catch a glimpse of the motorhomes, they are even the older motorhomes out there. Really cool added touch. Should be getting 1 to green this time by. And they already start stacking up. It looks like Cupcake there is now up to 5th position when they restart. As they get the 1 to green, looks like they may be restarting single file this time. Nope, they're stacking back up too wide. Looked briefly like they were going to try a single file restart, but that is not the case. So here we go. Pace car will duck off. Green flag is in the air, and Daniel Sweeney leads them down into turn 1. Gets a good jump this time with 2 laps to go. The 07 car still fighting back on the outside as we've got a car looking to the inside. That was the 37 car of Kyle Streeter. He was starting to look to the inside of Daniel Sweeney, but thought better of it, backed off just a little bit. The 07 is not giving up any ground. 1 lap to go. They were going to finish side by side from the looks of it. And, we've got a little beating and banging. The 07 gets into Daniel Sweeney going into turn 3. Daniel Sweeney powering back to the outside. Will we see a return bump and run? No. It is Daniel Sweeney winning the first heat. Or I'm sorry, Jeffrey Ramsdale winning the first heat. Daniel Sweeney coming home second. Quite a finish there. Half expected to see a return of the favor there, but they did not. All right, looks like as we start our quick warm-up, Tony Quadros is already out on track. Remember, he is third in points, just 8 points out of the lead, and the top two are tied for the lead. We'll watch Tony turn a few laps. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, as they finish up practice for this this epic battle on a historic track, want to remind you, don't go anywhere when this feature race is over, because tonight you're going to see something you have never seen before, and you may never see again. The Outcast SR8 boys are running the Michael Granels SR8 series at Talladega at night. Why is this important? Talladega has no track lighting, so they will be running with the SR8's lights only. 2.66 mile track. They will be going only by the headlights, and I'm looking forward to calling that race. I did a little testing there earlier just to see what it was going to be like, and it's definitely going to be interesting. They do not have the most powerful lights, but once they are in a pack, they will be 3 wide all the way around the track, and it's going to get kind of crazy. You're not going to want to miss out on that race. So definitely make sure to stick around for that. They'll go green flag racing at 9 Eastern. We will hop into their practice session as soon as this is over. We'll swap over and watch them get the last few minutes of practice in. That way you can get an idea of just how insane this is going to be. Look forward to watching that race. Chris Standridge is one of his brainchilds, I understand. And that's going to be awesome. But right now we've got these older cars on a historic track. This is something we've all been waiting for. Up front, it's going to be Randall Phillips and Justin Prescott on the front row, followed by Jason Pelkey and Eric Pamasco, Tony Quadros, Jeffrey Ramsdale, Daniel Sweeney, Thomas Johnson, Kyle Streeter, Eric Steele, round out your top 10, followed by Cupcake James Seagroves DeCourcy in 11th, Nathan Wenzel in 12th, Dean Webb 13th, Dana Shepard 14th, Jeffrey Battles back in 15th, Eric Laurendeau 16th, Dustin Thibodeau 17th, 18th is David Greenslet, and 19th is Rodney Huntoon. One lap to green. We will get 75 laps of side-by-side racing. After some green flag laps, they will stretch out a little bit, but I expect to see side-by-side racing around most of this track. .625 miles. They will, even when the front cars get in a single file line, they'll be catching up to the back part of this pack very quickly. Alrighty, here we go. Pace car is about to drop in. Green flag is in the air, and here they go down into turn one. Randy Phillips and Justin Prescott on the front row, side by side. It looked like we might have a little activity a little further back, as it looks like Randy Phillips is going to jump out to the early lead. And it looked like the 31, Daniel Sweeney, was already starting to make some moves. He is looking inside of Tony Quadros already, trying to pick up some early positions, as we've got somebody spinning at the back of the field. No caution. We'll have to see if we can figure out who that was. And you can hear the tire squeal from a lot of these guys as they come around. There is the 12 car of Tony Quadros. He is currently in fifth, started fifth, holding his fifth place position. But you know he is one to watch, as we've got a wreck right behind him. Caution is out. All right, it looks like the 14, the 37 right there. The 14 just gets a better run in. The 37 checks up mid-corner, gets turned around. The 14, everybody gets by clear. 37 wisely held his brakes until everybody got by. That brings us under the first caution of the feature. Back up front, it is still Randy Phillips leading the race. Justin Prescott still in second, Jason Pelkey third, Eric Pomasco fourth, Tony Quadros holding fifth. The only real moves we've seen so far, Daniel Sweeney picked up one position to move up to sixth. Eric Steele moved up to ninth, and Nathan Wenzel moved up from 10th. Or from 12th to 10th, and I stand corrected, the 14 of Jeffrey Battles has moved up from 15th to 11th. Now the 37 keeping his car clean and out of trouble. He won't have any significant damage, which is good. They do not have any fast repairs or extra sets of tires, so this is going to be all on them to try and keep that car in one piece. And it looks like I stand corrected. It's 50 laps tonight. I forgot about that. The nature of the longer track, they're only doing 50 laps. Most of the tracks we do here in this hardcore series, they do 75 laps, but they are all under a half mile. This one is 0.625 of a mile, and that is the reason for that. Now the turns are just 14 degrees. The straights are just 3 degrees of banking, so that does make it a little bit more like a flat track, but I can tell you from experience, turns 1 and 2 feel like they're a lot more banked than turns 3 and 4 do, just because of the way you drive down into the corner. It is a little bit different going into each end of the track as well. As we mentioned in pre-race, the back straightaway you're going uphill, the front straightaway you're going downhill, and it's a significant downhill and uphill, so it does affect the way you enter the corners. You do not enter the corners at either end of the track the same way. And even though both ends of the track have the same radius, have the same banking, because of that uphill downhill nature of it, it makes every corner a little bit unique. Losing out on these unique tracks is something that was a huge mistake by NASCAR, in my humble opinion. All right, 1 lap to green. They stack up back side by side. Looks like Kyle Streeter in the 37 will be back at the back of the field on the restart. But he managed to spin, save it, and not impact anybody else or himself. Got away with it in one piece. He did not even hit the wall, look like, so I think he'll be okay and might see him come back to the front. He did start in 9th. Green flag is in the air. Randy Phillips leads them down into turn 1. You've got the 44 and the 471 there pushing really hard coming into turn 1 and 2. 471, you see him there trying to pinch the inside car down so he doesn't get any momentum up off the turn. The 19 and the 44 come out of turn 4. Looks like the 19 is going to maintain the lead. Now it's going to be on the 44 to try and maintain second place as he's got the 64. That is Jason Pelkey to the inside. And they've got the 471 closing right up there. That is Eric Pomasco. In the meantime, the 31 has picked up another position on this restart. He is now up to 5th and looking to get around Tony Quadros. Looks like Tony had managed to reclaim that 5th spot for the moment, and looks like that outside line seems to be better in these street stocks, at least for the moment, as the 64 gets together. Caution is out, and the 64 might be done for the night. Remember, no fast repair. All right, looking at the 64 and the 44 coming up off of turn 4. 44 trying to hold him down. 64 just got loose, got into the inside wall, and might have just ended his night. Hate to see that so early in this race. Does look like his engine is smoking. Hopefully Jason Pelkey can get back out there. He was 4th in points coming into the night, so we will see if he can get enough repairs to pick up 1 or 2 spots, but that's going to be a tough break for him tonight. Randy Phillips still in the lead, but he's got the 44 of Justin Prescott right behind him. And we saw Eric Pomasco pushing hard in the 471 right behind the both of them. Looks like Daniel Sweeney will take 5th, and Nathan Wenzel, our points leader, started back in the 03 car. He started back in 12th. He's now up to 8th. Looks like the 14 of Jeffrey Battles is back in 15th. The 37 of Kyle Streeter is in 14th. And as they pace around, we'll remind you, go to the Facebook page. We have a Twitch channel. We're live on Facebook and Twitch tonight, and the videos will be on YouTube later tonight. You can also check us out Sunday nights. We'll have the BRR series at 7:30 Eastern. Monday night, we have the Outcast Dirt Boys, the 305s at 8:30 Eastern, the 358s at 10 Eastern, and then Tuesday nights, we have the XCal Racing League at 7:30 Eastern. They are also in these street stocks, and as we saw last night at Phoenix, one heck of a show. And, of course, the Northeast Racers are here every Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern, followed by the Outcast SR8s at 9 Eastern. And you definitely want to stick around for the crazy SR8 race tonight. As I mentioned earlier, they are at Talladega. Talladega has no lights. This is going to be interesting, to say the least. Once they're in their pack, they probably will not break off into 2 packs. They're going to have some difficulty seeing. It's going to make for some really wild racing tonight. Lights go out on the pace car. Looks like Randy Phillips trying to warm the tires just a little bit. I bet if Randy wanted to, he could go to the How to Suck at iRacing YouTube page and find a helpful video on a better way to warm the tires. Yes, there are help videos on there as well. All right, pace car is going to drop off. Green flag is in the air. The 19 is going to lead him down into turn 1. The 471, Eric Pomasco, he is going to jump up to the inside very quickly. The inside line is definitely working right now through 1 and 2, but Eric just could not get there quite yet. That middle line seems to be the fastest way around right now, as the 12 car of Tony Quadros, they're on that middle line outside. He is pushing really hard, trying to pick up some positions, and here comes Dan Sweeney down on the inside. I know we got some Dan Sweeney fans in the house. He is up to 6th at the moment, battling with this 4-car pack right here. That looks to be about 3rd through 7th place right now, so they're trying to sort that mess out as the leaders loving seeing this in the mirror. The 19 and the 44 have kind of checked out just a little bit. And it looks like the 12 of Tony Quadros is going to come out ahead. He is now up to 3rd as Dan Sweeney moves to the outside line trying to get around Eric Pomasco. Go off into 1 and 2. Looks like Eric's trying a little bit higher entry there, trying to hold both lines behind him. Manages to pull it off. That was some great driving by the 471, but he drifted a little bit in turns 3 and 4, and that's going to allow Thomas Johnson to slide up in there. 13 laps down, about 37, 36 more to go. These guys are not taking it easy at all on their tires right now. Looks like everybody's single file behind them, but these front guys, they are battling for about 3rd through 5th now, side by side all the way around the track. As soon as one of them gets single file, another one jumps out and tries to make the pass, as we see Dan Sweeney to the inside coming through 3 and 4. It looks like he's got the advantage going down into 1 and 2. Thomas Johnson there on the outside is not giving an inch. He's trying to hold him down low, uses momentum up off the corner. Looked like Dan was faster in 3 and 4, but Thomas was way faster in 1 and 2, so we'll see how this plays out. Thomas keeps an advantage through 3 and 4 this time and manages to slide back up in front. That puts Thomas in 5th, Dan Sweeney back into 6th. In the meantime, up front, the 19 is just kind of gone. He has got a 1-second lead over the 44 of Justin Prescott. But Justin has a hard-charging 12 car right behind him, Tony Quadros, in 3rd place on the track. And this is a great opportunity for him right now as he makes a move for 2nd place. Going through 3 and 4, he is going to take it very easily. Nathan Wenzel and Randy Phillips. Nathan is back in 7th. Randy looking through here. Randy's up in 1st right now, but Nathan Wenzel back in 7th. Tony Quadros is loving this. He is closing in on the points leader, and the other gentleman tied for the points lead is several spots back, so he's gaining a lot of ground on these guys. Right behind him, we've got a battle shaping up for 3rd place as Justin Prescott back there in 3rd now has the 471 and the 58 of Thomas Johnson right there behind him. And of course, Dan Sweeney still in the mix here. We've got a battle going on from 3rd to back to 6th right now. We've got a 2nd pack that has fallen back just a little bit as Dan Sweeney gets a little bit of a run to the outside, can't get anything with it, but Thomas Johnson definitely is in this battle. He keeps closing up on the 471 every lap. Just needs a little bit of he gets a little loose coming off turn 2 there. In the meantime, that 1-second lead that the 19 had, that's gone. Tony Quadros has closed the gap up on him. Tony taking a high line through there. A really high line. We'll see if that benefits him or not. He is trying to find any way he can to carry some extra momentum through. And looks like he did not like that high line. He is dropping back down to the inside and immediately closes right back up onto the back bumper of the 19 car. He is right there at the back bumper. The 19 was loving that battling there for a few laps, but that's gone now. He is right there on the back bumper. Backs off, does not use the chrome horn yet, and that is allowing the 44 to close back up. Tony Quadros is going to have to make some sort of move here before long, or they're going to have a 3-car battle for the lead. Here comes the 44 closing back up. He's got the 471 of Eric Pomasco. Those two have broken away from the battle right behind them. Thomas Johnson currently in 5th has Dan Sweeney right on his back bumper. As he gets a little loose coming off, that's going to give Dan Sweeney a little bit of extra momentum going down into 1. Dan looked like he got a little loose on entry, still trying to stick it up underneath the 58. Can't get the job done. Battle up front continues, and 12 car just cannot find a way around the 19 of Randy Phillips yet. 24 laps to go, just past halfway. And it looks like looks like Eric Pomasco is starting to look at 3rd place. Ducks to the inside of the 44. They bang doors coming through the exit of turn 4 down into turn 1. 44 holds on to it, but they stay side by side all the way around the track. Great green flag racing by these guys. Thomas Johnson closed right back up to the back bumper of these guys there while they were up here battling. Oh, Thomas grabs some grass. He gets turned sideways. We will see what happens here. Caution is out. He manages to keep it off the wall, but that is going to put him way back in the field. And that grass is like hitting ice in these cars. He just grabbed a little bit of it. It got him loose. Looks like Dan Sweeney tried to avoid him. Not sure if they touched it all. Didn't look like it, but 58 manages to keep the car off the rail and get back on track. And of course, as usual, we won't see any pit strategy. We won't see any fuel strategy or tire strategy here, because there is none. This is just who is the fastest, and now we've got the 12 car restarting to the outside of the 19 on this restart. We'll see if this is exactly what Tony needed to get past and get to the lead, because the 471 was coming very quickly. Eric Pomasco was in that fight. Looks like the 44 of Justin Prescott, he's fallen back a couple of spots. Not sure if he has used the car up or if he is just struggling with the handling, but he is definitely not as fast once he gets back in traffic. This is also going to play into the fact that they will not encounter lap traffic as quickly. They've gone 27 laps so far and did not encounter any lap traffic, and does not look like they will now, so the leaders will have clean track all the way around. And currently it looks like Randy Phillips in first, Tony Quadros second, Eric Pomasco third, Justin Prescott fourth, Thomas Johnson fifth, Dan Sweeney back there in sixth, Nathan Wenzel has worked his way up to seventh, Jeffrey Ramsdale is up to eighth. Jeffrey Battles had some struggles early, got sent to the back. He is now back up to ninth. Kyle Streeter also had some problems earlier on. He is back up to 10th. Eric Laurendeau, Eric Steele, and Cupcake are 11th, 12th, and 13th. Dana Shepard back in 14th. 15th is Dustin Thibodeau. Dean Webb is 16th. And Jason Pelkey in the 64 car looks like he is off track, out of the race. As we get the 1 to green, we will see if this is the opportunity that Tony needed to get past the 19 and jump to the lead. Pace car is going to duck off here. Green flag is in the air. Randy Phillips leads him down, but now he's going to have to battle with the 12 car of Tony Quadros on the outside. They both get a good jump down into turn 1, open up a little bit of a gap. The 19 gets way loose, and the 12 car jumps into the lead. Will he be able to maintain it through 3 and 4? He's got a gap. He can come down now and go where he needs to go, but he is a little bit struggling up off the turn. Manages to secure first place. Now will the 19 be able to get back around him as the battle rages right behind him? The 44 and the 471 right there on the back bumper. Tony running that higher line, not trying to block right now. We're at 20 laps to go. And the 471 there to the inside, battling for third place as Tony Quadros is starting to open up a little bit of a gap. So we will try and hop into the cockpit of the 471 and take a ride around North Wilkesboro. All right, here you come down the front straightaway, literally, and there's the start-finish line. Have to brake just a little bit getting into turn 1. He's trying to stay off the 44, pushing it back up off this on the uphill back straightaway, hits the rev limiter, gets down into turn 3, back to the inside of the 44, and that is one very quick lap around North Wilkesboro. He did that lap in 20.5 seconds. As they continue to battle back there side by side. And look, speaking of battle, Jeffrey Battles is back there trying to get past Daniel Sweeney. He is up to, oh, we've got several cars. 44 looked like he might have got bumped through 3 and 4, and now he has slid back several positions. That gives the 471 third position right now. And the 03 of Nathan Wenzel now up into 4th. And he starts looking to the inside for third place. 12 car maintaining about a half a second lead over the 19 car of Randy Phillips with 15 laps to go. After a rough couple of weeks, a couple of good finishes, but he definitely has struggled getting caught up in some stuff. Tony Quadros needs that good finish tonight. The battle for third continues, though. The 03 and the 471 side by side. They got Jeffrey Battles right behind them with Dan Sweeney to the inside. And this is a battle for about third back to 6th, 7th place. We've got more cars coming up as they start to battle side by side, including the 07 of Jeffrey Ramsdell. Oh! Looked like Dan Sweeney got into the wall just a little bit coming off turn 2. Does not look like he had any significant damage. Just scraped the wall a little bit, but that gives the 07 a look to the inside. Can't quite get there yet. That did open up a little bit of a gap. Gives the 14 and the 471 a little more room to work with, a little less to deal with right behind him as the 14 tries to hold the 471 as low as he possibly can. As they go off into turns 1 and 2, the 14, Jeff Battles, he has definitely got the advantage coming through 1 and 2. Carries some momentum up off of 2. Gets down into 3 and 4, starts to get that nose out ahead. The 03 right in front of him is running the low line. That may come into play. The 471 gets a little loose trying to hold his line, and that gives the 14 the position and moves him up to 4th. In the meantime, Tony Quadros up front, 10 laps to go, coming to 9 laps to go. He has opened up a 1.3 second lead over the 19 car. Randy Phillips in second in the 19 car, followed by the 03 of Nathan Wenzel. He is over a second back from second place, and he's about to have his hands full of Jeffrey Battles. And the 471, Eric Pamasco, still lurking back there in the background. 8 laps to go for the leader. Hopping back here, the 44 and of Justin Prescott is battling with Daniel Sweeney. They're trying to get around the 07 of Jeffrey Ramsdale, and they've got Cupcake coming up behind him, the 74, James Seagroves DeCourcy. And he's got the 37 car, Kyle Streeter, there right on his back bumper as well. Meantime, the 12 car continues to open up his lead. He's up to over a second and a half now, as he comes down to get 5 laps to go. The 03 has managed to put a little space between him and the 14, not very much. One mistake, that 14 will be right on his back bumper. We've seen the 14 capitalize on other people's mistakes quite often, not just tonight, but in every race. He is always putting himself in the right positions. He is also the only one in the league with 2 wins and a 3rd place finish tonight. He's currently 10th in points, but a 3rd place finish tonight would definitely help. Nathan Wenzel and Randy Phillips, both the top 3 in points, are now running 1, 2, 3. That is 3rd place in points. Tony Quadros leading the race. He's got Randy Phillips and Nathan Wenzel 2nd and 3rd respectively, and they are tied for 1st in points. So he's not going to build up as much of a gap as make up as much of that gap as he'd like, but it's an 8-point difference from Tony Quadros back to the up to Randy and Nathan. So we'll see how that plays out in the points for next week. Coming down to pick up the white flag. Tony Quadros gets the white flag. 1 more lap to go. There's a lap car ahead, but he will not come into play. Just half a lap to go, and it looks like we might have a battle going on back here for 3rd place, as Jeffrey battles to the inside of the 03. He's going to take 3rd place, slipping the 03 back to 4. The 03 tries to cross over but can't get it done. And Tony Quadros in the 12 car wins the race. Jeffrey Battles comes home 2nd, Nathan Wenzel 3rd, Eric Pomasco 4th, Randy Phillips comes home 5th. Then it's Dan Sweeney, Eric Steele, James Seagroves DeCourcy comes home 8th. Jeffrey Ramsdale comes home 9th. Thomas Johnson back in 10th. Dean Webb, Dustin Thibodeau, Dana Shepard all finish on the lead lap. Kyle Streeter, Justin Prescott, and Eric Laurendeau a lap down. And then looks like David Greenslet and Rodney Huntoon were out. Great race by that 12 car. He managed to pick up a lot of speed there at the end, open up a little bit of gap. He wanted to get a good finish tonight, make up the difference in some points. He has struggled recently, so it's good to see him get back up there into victory circle as he almost wrecks into the 46 as he does his victory lap. So big congratulations to Tony Quadros. Do not forget, stick around for just a few minutes. Once we're done here, we will switch over and watch the Outcast boys. They are going to be doing SR8s at Talladega at night. And remember, there's no lights at Talladega. And there's a trivia question for the race tonight that I will bring up, and whoever gets it right will get their, in the SR8 series will, yeah, that kind of ruined his burnout. In the SR8 series, whoever gets drops the question or the correct answer into the chat first, once I ask it, once we get in there, we'll get their name on the car of Chris Standridge next week. So that added bonus there. All right, for everybody here at Northeast Racers coming from North Wilkesboro, stick around for the next race. Want to thank these guys. Great race tonight. One of the best ones they've had so far. A lot of great side-by-side battling. Congratulations to Tony Quadros. And stick around for just a few minutes. We will be right back with the Radical SR8s from Talladega.